Is Mark Warner, the Barry Goldwater, 50 years on, is Mark Warner the guy who's going to play that role for Joe Biden?
I don't know that he's Barry Goldwater. I don't think he has the similar respect in his party that Barry Goldwater did in the Republican Party at that time. But someone's got to play that role.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to happen, but it's needed for the Democrats to have, I think, a chance of success. They've got to do it for their party and for what they believe in.
But it's hard to ask people. I mean, the cost of being wrong on this is extraordinary. But Daniel, it seems like things may be getting a little leaky over at the White House. It's getting a little leaky. The New York Times quoting multiple current and former officials saying the president has, quote, increasingly appeared confused or listless. One of the things that we look for in a crisis in a White House is what? Right? People start to save their own skins. So they say, oh, I'm getting out ahead of this. I'm getting out ahead of this. Is that what's going on here? Are we looking at that phenomenon?
Yeah, we reported about how people are updating their LinkedIns. They're thinking about what's next. And, you know, this has been a very disciplined administration compared to the Trump administration, where there was epic fights between Kellyanne Conway and Jared Kushner. But here, I think they know that Congress and congressional Democrats do not want Biden to drag down the ticket. And that donors, we are starting to see some donor events get postponed or not finalized because donors might have to shift their money to the House and the Senate if Biden stays on the ticket.
Tia, you've talked with us here before about black voters, and in no state is more significant than in Georgia, right? So the pressure from on this administration from black voters has been pronounced for months. We're not feeling it. We're not seeing it. The Jim Clyburn, now I watch him very closely on these matters, talking about holding a mini primary. And I took that and help me decipher Jim Clyburn here. He's talking about a mini primary. If he's already moved on to the question of how to replace Biden, does that suggest that it's a foregone conclusion?
No, I don't think so at all. I think a lot of black voters are open to, if the process should happen, they're open to it. They're more than likely behind Vice President Harris, but open to a shift should it happen. But I think a lot of Democratic voters, I'm talking about regular folks, are still willing to give Biden time to either prove that he can do it or make the decision on his own. And I think that's one of the disconnects, because yes, there are frontline Democrats who are concerned. There are donors who are concerned, and they don't want to be caught, you know, trying to Monday morning quarterback the day after the election. But I think regular folks aren't necessarily there yet, and that's why we haven't had the movement, because if no one's pushing Biden yet, then he's dug in right now.
And when that CNN poll came out and showed Kamala Harris doing better among young voters, black voters, independent voters, you could feel the little tremor, right, move through Washington, like, oh, wait a minute, we have a data point. And Bob, you know it's bad for Democrats when they're excited that the vice president is only down 2 in a head-to-head matchup with Donald Trump. Look into your crystal ball, Brother Cusack. Where will we be a week from now?
This is on a knife's edge. I think that the pressure is going to build on the president. I do think when you think about a mini primary, I think Biden, if he does step aside, remember the president, all presidents have egos, and he's stubborn. He's going to have to be convinced by, I think, a large amount of Democrats. And as you were reporting,
it has to be overwhelming.
It has to be overwhelming. The media wants him out, and a lot of the donors want him out. That's a trouble sign. But listen, if he steps aside, he has to support his vice president. It would be a historic snub if he passed over Harris.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.